Mars is the planet of action, desire, sexuality. It rules over blood, war, accidents. Now, the sign of Mars is also very important, but today we're just going to discuss the house. So let's have a look at the placement of Mars in your chart. Mars in the first house. So any planet on the ascendant is going to have a big impact on you. So here you pretty much take on the qualities of Mars. Assertive, blunt, argumentative even. Now you guys can anger very quick, but you also get over it really quickly. Your mother might have had a hard labor, maybe a C-section, or you just came out real quick. This placement, there could have been some stress, some violence in the home, some fighting around your family members. You guys have a tendency to get hurt easily. Accidents, scrape, cuts, so watch out for injuries, especially to the head. You may get red in the face, have a facial scar. Sometimes wherever Mars is, it could rule that you have a scar in that area. You probably look very strong, very athletic. You build muscle easily. You guys keep in shape. You love anything that keeps you active. Dancing, gymnastics, anything that's athletic, even karate or anything that gets you moving. You guys are always on the move. You're very fidgety. And this may be why it's hard for you to fall asleep, hard for you to relax. You guys hate to sit, maybe even love fidget toys. You're always on the move. You guys can be very sexual, have a high libido. If a man has this placement, he'll do whatever in pursuit of the woman he likes. You guys really like to pursue the object of your affection. With this placement, you can try to impose your ideas onto other people. Competitive. It's easy for you to get in a fight with someone. Now, if Mars is sitting in the sign of Libra, Gemini, Taurus, you're going to be a little less pushy. But still, Mars in the first house makes you very pushy, very blunt. This placement, you also pursue business. You guys are great business leaders. You pursue fighting for people. Good lawyers, good debaters. Mars in the second house, it can make you very argumentative. If Mars is ill-placed, it can even make you swear, yell a lot. You're possessive about your possessions. Money you make, you can think of ways to make money very quickly. You also spend money quickly. You could be a very fast eater. You can even overeat here, but you can also fast very well. You know, when you make up your mind and you want to lose weight and you want to go on a water fast or something like that, it's very easy for these people. You're very determined. You love to collect things, jewelry, possessions. You love and take care of your possessions. But with this placement, you can sometimes have to give up your possessions. Maybe you're moving abroad. Maybe you're moving somewhere. You put some stuff into storage, it gets stolen. Stuff gets stolen. It gets, your possessions can get damaged. And so sometimes I see with this placement that you're rebuilding, starting over with your possessions a lot. With Mars in the second, you don't like to conform to society's standards. You stand up and fight for injustice. Some of your beliefs may be controversial. You may even have clashes with members of your family, arguments here and there. Maybe you go against the beliefs of society, against the beliefs of your family. You are very competitive in pursuing knowledge and collections. These people can be self-made. You are always in pursuit. You can deal with real estate, jewelry, precious metals. It's a big placement for jewelry, stones, anything of that sort. And you also love to collect things like that. You could have arguments with your family about possessions, about money, about the way you deal with money. You guys can spend money very easily, even recklessly. You make a lot of money and you always figure out new ways to make money, but you also spend money just as quick. It comes in and it comes right out. You're very protective over your family, your possessions. You guys can be very powerful speakers. Powerful voice, you know, motivational speakers, singers with a powerful voice. With this placement, as a child, maybe you were malnourished or you didn't want to eat, you were a fussy eater. You guys speak with conviction. Sometimes people can even be intimidated by your speech or the way you're putting things out there. With this placement, you can have problems with the teeth, problems with the face maybe, but especially the teeth. You feel way more confident when you finally reached financial goals, when you have the possessions you've wanted. Your beliefs may be controversial, but you love to take on these causes. and you speak out about them too. You're not going to be someone who sits on the sidelines if you believe something is wrong. Mars in the 3rd house. Here you might get into arguments, not get along with your siblings. You might not even have siblings with Mars in the 3rd sometimes, or there could be a really big age difference between you and your siblings. Also arguments with not only your siblings are possible here, not getting along with your siblings, but arguments in the neighborhood, arguments with your neighbors. You ever hear of those neighbors who just bicker back and forth, maybe over where the fence line is or something like that. Or you might have neighbors you dislike, or it's really loud where you live, things are always happening. You guys have great use of hands, arts, you rise above any obstacles, drawing, music, anything like that, even sports, dealing with hands. You could be very pushy. You guys will never back down from an argument. You want to make your point. Very decisive, very commanding. Your uniqueness makes you stand out. You guys are strong-willed, ambitious. You guys are great inventors. Maybe being on social media, anything dealing with your hands, making things. Sports, Tiger Woods has Mars retrograde in the 3rd house, and he's, the pro golfer. Social media, painting, photography, you guys really excel at this stuff. Drawing, you guys are so creative. You come up with your own ways to stand out. Mars in the 4th house. Over here, you might have turbulence, some anger in the home, powerful, maybe domineering mother. Maybe you guys go back and forth all the time, bicker, argue a lot, or maybe she has a problem with anger as well. Divorced parents, argumentative parents even. You guys are ambitious, bold, very domineering. You can bottle up your emotions and then sometimes just explode with anger, especially with family members, those closest to you. You may change family traditions when you have Mars in the 4th house, go against family traditions. You could have mood swings, a hard time trying to relax. You may feel like there's a lot of fighting in the home, like it's hard for you to find peace inside of your home. You could do very well in real estate matters. Selling real estate, maybe you get an inheritance, or you buy a lot of land, you buy a lot of properties. You could also become very domineering yourself, very overprotective over your family. If someone comes at your family, you're very guarded of your family. You could be impatient with your family. People closest to you could really get under your skin. You hate when people intrude on your privacy. You really like your own private time. With Mars in the 4th, there could be some accidents in the home, some theft or burglary, someone damaging your property, your possessions. Even I've seen fires with this placement. With Mars here, you can be more confrontational and aggressive with your own family, more so than your friends and the public, where your demeanor kind of changes and you're more agreeable there. Mars in the 5th house, you guys are extremely intelligent, maybe even dealing with numbers, math, stocks, maybe even sports betting, things like that will probably interest you. Really good with numbers, architecture. You guys have a love for exercise, especially anything competitive. You guys love competitive games, competitive sports. You can become a player in the romance department. Maybe there's some jealousy coming from you in relationships. You could be a very passionate lover as well. Very creative in music. A lot of actors, actresses have Mars in the 5th house. People who play competitive sports as well. It can be hard for you to express your emotions, how you really feel. You're very guarded of that, very guarded of your heart. You absolutely hate when people tell you what to do. You really don't like that. Mars in the 6th house. Leaders, quick decision makers with Mars in the 6th. You can have conflict with the people that you work with, your employees, especially the people beneath you. You guys do not mind taking on the opposition. You usually like to take on the opposition. With Mars here, there may be some mishaps or some accidents that happen, especially at work, so watch out for that. If you're a pet owner, your pets may have some issues, health problems. With Mars in the 6th, you guys are very productive, very efficient, especially on the job. You want everything done right, very methodical. You guys love taking on any competitive challenges, You are going to go after your opponent. So anyone in the service industry or someone being a lawyer and fighting for a cause is very prominent here, because you guys just want to get to the bottom of everything. You want to win. Mars in the 7th house. This placement can suggest that some of your relationships are very passive aggressive. Your partner could have some anger issues. You yourself could be that way as well as someone who just doesn't stand down. With Mars in the 7th, you guys can get into relationships really quickly. You love to pursue the object of your affection. You could also meet people that are always trying to pursue you. Your partner could be very athletic, passionate, maybe argumentative, someone who doesn't take any crap. You're someone who doesn't stand down. Even when shopping or trying to get the bargain, you guys get the best bargain. You do not settle for the price on the sticker. You know, you go into the car dealership and you're like, no, this is what I'm paying. This is not worth it. You guys know the worth of everything and you know how to get the deal. You may have some anger issues, some controlling issues, but not just with spouse, but with friends, business associates, you know. You guys want to get to the bottom of things. You do not beat around the bush, and you may come off a little rough around the edges sometimes. With this placement, you could be dealing with a lot of males. Maybe you have a lot of male friends, male co-workers. You guys have a need to get to the bottom of every problem. This is a great placement for lawyers, people who are fighting for something, who want to get a deal, someone in marketing, for example, or anything to do with money or commerce, because you guys will not be fooled. You know, you get down to the nitty-gritty, you get down to the numbers, and you will not settle for anything less. You know what something's worth and you will not pay more for it. Mars in the 8th house. This is the house of transformation, rebirth. And you guys surely do a lot of that. You guys are ambitious, defiant, very driven individuals. You guys want to do things in your own way, your own time. You guys are extremely determined in getting what you want. You know, you want something, you're going to get it. You're going to manifest it somehow. A high sex drive can be seen with Mars in the 8th house. Think of Marilyn Monroe, who had Mars in the 8th house. She was this big sex symbol. So a lot of sex symbols have Mars in the 8th as well. You're really driven by occult knowledge, astrology, tarot, all that stuff. In fact, you might even turn it into a career. You guys are driven to find out how people think, the psychological makeup of people. You're very driven by people's thoughts, people's actions, what makes them do what they do. You guys may have a tendency to be risky with your lives, risky with other people's lives. You're very driven by risky behavior and just taking risks. You believe you only live once, so let's go for it. But sometimes that may get you hurt, may get you into trouble. With this placement, you may go through some transformations with the way you behave, the way you act. You can be good with other people's money, dealing with other people's money. Things like stocks, bonds may interest you a lot. Or you may go into business or partnerships with people. Mars in the 9th house. Maybe you had a domineering father, maybe he was in the military, traveled a lot. Maybe he also got hurt a lot, or you guys kind of bickered back and forth, didn't get along. You can be very outspoken and passionate about philosophy, religion, politics. You probably have a great sense of humor, ability to make people laugh. You can be very blunt and outspoken with your words, so be careful because people might sometimes take it the wrong way. You dislike when people tell you what to do, when they're imposing their ideas onto you, but you have a tendency of doing that as well, especially with your beliefs. You sometimes want to preach to people about what you believe in. You have a love for traveling, especially overseas to foreign lands, culture, different food, different music. You love to sightsee. You guys can be extremely good debaters, motivational speakers. You have a powerful voice. You guys are good debaters, politicians. Maybe you can work in the theater, acting even. You guys have this powerful magnetic voice. You know, people want to listen to you. People want to hear what you have to say. You guys are very passionate. You're the person who asks why. Why is this? How can I change this? You guys want a higher education. You guys want to change education. You love to discuss topics amongst other educated people, philosophy, anything like that. You're going to gravitate towards it. Mars in the 10th house. You guys are so career driven. This is a great placement for a prominent career. You are driven and determined to succeed no matter what. Very disciplined. You are leaders. You're leaders in your field. The public respects you. People know you mean business and you know what you're talking about. You guys are great at conquering any competition. LeBron James, the famous athlete, he has Mars in the 10th house. So very competitive. Competitive sports could also be seen with Mars in the 10th. Competitive fighters. Muhammad Ali also has a 10th house Mars. Angelina Jolie also has a 10th house Mars. And notice how she always does movies where she's fighting and conquering something. You are driven by logic and results. You know, you guys want to see results. You don't want to do all the talking. You go out there and you get it. You know, other people are thinking how to do things and you guys just go. You go and get what you need. With this placement, you could also work for the government. This placement brings public recognition, so receiving a lot of awards for achievement in career is very prominent with this placement. Mars in the 11th house. Over here, you can sometimes have quarrels or some backstabbing friends, maybe problems with friends, arguing with friends at times. Friends may even become your enemies, your competitors. You guys love immersing yourself into the arts, theater, acting, social media. You are very motivated to acquire wealth and making all your dreams come true. You guys are probably talented in art, music, writing, theater. These people are very talented, especially social media. You could be popular on social media, popular on YouTube, music, the arts. You guys are very charismatic performers as well. Think of Elvis, Dolly Parton. They just draw in the crowd, draw people in. You're very super focused on your dream, very driven when it comes to your wishes, your fantasies, wealth. Mars in the 12th house. You guys need to be careful not to get involved with drugs, escapism, alcohol, partying too much. It may be hard for you to fall asleep. You guys can at times take on a lot of debt, so be careful with your spending with Mars in the 12th. You guys can amass a lot of enemies, people just chit-chat and talking about you. You guys are the type of people that you get in a fight, something's going on, and you think later, I should have said this, I should have said this. So you want to call people back and be like, blah, 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 blah. You know, sometimes you do not know exactly what you want to say at that moment. Like a lot of your action and thought is a little restricted. It can be hard to take action. You know, one day you want to take action and the next day you don't. So sometimes you don't even know how you feel about what you want to pursue. You guys have good strategies. It's just sometimes it's hard to implement them. So you guys really need to focus when you want to do something. You know, you need to almost write out an action plan and go step by step, because sometimes you want to do something one day, the next day you don't. You change your mind a lot. So writing down an action plan and just going step by step logically will help you achieve your goals. You guys can suppress your anger, be passive aggressive with Mars in the 12th, and even try to conceal and hide your anger. You guys can love traveling overseas. You guys can be very good and methodical at defeating your enemies, but this placement can bring on a lot of enemies. People just talking about you, writing about you, try to smear your name. You can have just people randomly wanting to fight you, randomly wanting to start fights with you, gossiping about you out of nowhere.
I hope you found this video helpful. Like and subscribe for more.